shadow the new Praetorian. The articles being used today are the intellectual property of the Lady's Finger and RT. The clips being used today are the property of a couple of crazy truck drivers from Europe and Russia respectively. The opinions expressed today are that of the Laughing Ogre and are no way meant to reflect the opinions or ideas of any sane human being. Now watch out. Watch out. Here he comes. The Laughing Ogre! Oh man, let me tell you about it. I'm so glad to be back here, YouTube. I'll tell you what, I've been looking into this topic right here for about 3 or 4 hours, and it's blowing my mind because we're dealing with a foe that, as some really good friends of mine like TheBritisher, he wants to. You can't give the devil too much credit. I say it. I'm not telling the same old dry jokes every dagnab time. But, go watch his Jihadi Special Olympics, I believe it's called. Go watch his satire on that on TheBritisher's channel. Really insightful. And it also lets you see that we can't take these people too seriously. That said, if someone looks at you and says, I'm coming to your house tonight at midnight, and I'm coming there to rob you, I'm going to steal everything you have, are you going to go to the movies, the midnight matinee at that night? Even if you don't think that they're going to do it, in your heart, you feel like they're BS. No way. If you do, well, I guess what are you saying? You giving them your stuff? No. So what we need to do is we need to listen to what Islam is telling us they want to do. They want to come here. They want to breed us out. They want to breed with our women. They want to make babies that are Islam and teach them to be Islamic. I agree with a lot of people, and that, most Muslims, yes, but they like to say not all, but the leadership of Islam, the imams, the ones that they're gurus, the ones that tell them what they should be doing, they are saying, go breed them out. Stab them with knives. Strap upon yourself explosives with marbles and nails in them and destroy innocent people at a pizza parlor in Tel Aviv. Run folks over with your car at Ohio State. Get out and try to stab as many as you can before you are gunned down by the righteous right hand of justice. So, as you can see, this is kind of a hot topic for me. I don't like that people are actively saying they want to hurt, destroy, and kill my countrymen. That they want to destroy my way of life. That I listen to Chowdhury, whatever is blow, back, face. Piece of garbage on Hannity. It's an old clip. But he said the whole world needs Sharia law. I don't need Sharia law. I don't want Sharia law. In the mythos I follow, I've seen what happens when the Israelites cried out to God and said, 10 isn't enough. Tell us what to do. If you're a Christian, read the book of Deuteronomy. That was his answer. He's like, the 10's not enough? Okay. If you see your sister taking a shower accidentally, you're cast out in the desert to die. If you see your mother without her clothes on, accidentally, mind you, you're cast out in the desert to die. If you masturbate and get semen on you, you need to do a ritual cleaning, and then you can't attend synagogue or go to the temple that Sabbath because you're dirty. We don't need a theocracy. It's insanity to say we do. So I'm going to jump right into this. This says Lady's Finger. I'm going to have links to all this, including two that I've had links into I think the video right before this one, because we're going to look and see how some people deal with this insanity. Remember, these are refugees. I don't see any of the babies that they show that are all, and the sad babies, who I have empathy for, but it's not my problem. When I find a chicken, I love all of my birds. But when that bird, folks, is dead, and I'm picking it up now, and some of them are babies, Chickens are mean. They'll try to eat the babies if the mom's not careful. Another bird, I've seen it happen. They will grab a baby and they'll eat it. Chickens, that's why I don't mind calling the Muslims chickens, because they'll eat their own. They will throw their own women into holes and stone them to death and chop heads. It's unreal what they do. Again, the Britisher will remind me, well, if they all did that, then there'd be a lot of dead folks. Well, there is a lot of dead folks for my liking, and I do agree with you. But it is the leadership. And as long as the leadership is saying this, there's always going to be crazies. So this says, women and children in Dunkirk. Does anybody ever remember the miracle at Dunkirk? If you don't know it, you suck. And you need to go, I shouldn't say it that way. If you don't know it, go look it up and learn history and find out what happened in Dunkirk with the Germans. And you just look it up. So women and children in Dunkirk's refugee camp. This squalor here. I mean, listen, folks. You bring people in without assimilating them and letting them become a part of you, and they bring their society with you. So one must be careful that the society they're bringing is compatible with yours. Please go check out HisHolyMajisty, Why We Need to Build the Wall, I believe it's called. You might try to judge this guy because he looks like a muscular Vizzini from The Princess Bride, is what he looks like with hair and it's long. And he speaks like Vizzini and he looks like Vizzini. But man, I tell you, the guy's got it down. So this says they're being raped and beaten up regularly. That's because in Islam, they are used to being able to rape and beat up children and women. They have no rights. If they want sex with a woman, they take it. The woman can't say anything. If she dares say something, that simply means she may get stoned to death. In fact, there's a good chance that she will get stoned to death if she goes and tells. Check out Saitan. He explains that too. It says, with the UK's Home Office announcing on Wednesday that it would wrap up Dubs, its scheme allowing up to 3,000 unaccompanied child refugees into the country. I hate to keep giving reference, but I want y'all to know where I get my news, and I check on them. But the Honey Badger does a wonderful thing that I actually looked into cold, so that I thought I was going to disagree with her, but look into the Janissaries and find out that Muslims have been doing this with young people for years. They want these young people to come here. And then it says 3,000 unaccompanied children. What do you mean? 3? What's the age limit? Is the age limit 18? Is it going to be 3,000 16 to 18-year-old boys? Into the country and set the cap at 350 minors instead. News about the horrific conditions in the refugee camp is coming to light. Listen, this will be in the description. Read all this. This wouldn't be a problem if they hadn't snapped to it. I had a couple problems just recently that if you follow me, you'll have seen unfold, so to speak. And it's because I snapped to judgment. I was so quick to just say, this is the way it is. I know the way it is. I don't have to listen to anybody. I'm going to do this. I'm going to crusader. I'm going to do what's right. And boom. Sometimes when you're trying to do what's right, no good deed goes unpunished. I might read a little bit more of this. So 350 minors instead. News about the horrific conditions in the refugee camp is coming to light in a gruesome addition to the stories that have been emerging out of Calais, I believe. Volunteers at camps in Dunkirk, North France, have revealed that women and children are being raped, beaten up, and sexually assaulted on a very regular basis by traffickers. According to a recent report, sometimes this is done in exchange for blankets or the promise of being taken to the UK. An anonymous source told The Guardian that apparently the showers are especially dangerous because some of them don't have locks and certain individuals have access to them. I don't know who these certain individuals are. Are they trying to say that the certain individuals are French or whatever? I don't know. Where they come from is rape culture. Where they come from is it's the apotheosis of patriarchy. We live in a matriarchal society that feminists are trying to change into a patriarchal society. and, well, egalitarian. Let's leave it matriarchal. Let's leave it so if you spit on the sidewalk in front of my woman, I bust you in the teeth. And if you call the cops on me, they bust you in the teeth. That's how it was for a couple of centuries here in America, but that has changed. So it's, it's saying that the showers are dangerous. Read this article. It's so short, I'm just going to go ahead and finish it. So that, that certain people have access to these showers, creating a situation where women and children are being dragged to the toilets at night. Adult nappies are apparently in high demand at the camps because people, petrified of the risk of sexual violence, are reluctant to use the toilets at night while unaccompanied. Cali camps, which had approximately 600 unaccompanied minors, why are they there? They should have been vetting these people, became notorious for similar horrors last year, including a case of 4 teenage boys who needed surgery after being consistently raped for months. These appalling conditions are part of the claims of those fighting to convince British Prime Minister Theresa May, don't do it, Theresa. You don't tell your people to run, hide, and tell. The Britisher is much more angry than he lets on. The offspring of Wellington, of Nelson, of Churchill. You tell the ancestors of the great Winston Churchill to run, hide, and tell? We will fight on the land and in the sea, and with growing power in the air, we will defend our island, whatever the cost may be. It makes me want to weep and cry. They're trying to convince Theresa May to reopen the scheme for unaccompanied minors. Look into it. I've already had. These unaccompanied minors go to school and rape people. If they're animals. You got to get them before they're 12, in my opinion. You got to. And that's dangerous then. You have to really have something in place to bring them into this new society. The West is not as bad as they say it is. The West is the light of the world at this point. Their scheme to help minors, which would go some way in helping at least a fraction of the 95,000 unaccompanied children in Europe requesting asylum. Why did they let them here? You maniacs. I'm not going to go into just totally blaming, but the people that set the policies on this should have at least thought about it. Give me a break. Thank goodness we have an administration right now that's going to think about it. But in Dunkirk, where a center intended specifically for women in the refugee camp was burnt down by unknown vandals last month, the situation continues to look bleak. I bet it does. I got 2 sources because this one's RT, and inevitably someone is going to tell me that because I used RT, it's just not a credible source. All right, but I don't buy that. Russian television is a credible source. So let's look at this. Sexual assault, violence, rape, far too common at France's Dunkirk refugee camp. Report. Children and women are assaulted and raped by traffickers inside a refugee camp in northern France, where unaccompanied individuals are viewed as easy prey, according to volunteers, medics, refugees, and officials interviewed by The Observer. This is a quote. Sexual assault, violence, and rape are far too common, one volunteer told The Observer, speaking on the condition of anonymity. This one I'm going to let y'all look into on your own in much more, depth. Because, who am I to tell you what to feel about these things? You need to look at it. But what I am going to do now is show you how other folks deal with it. I want you to see what these refugees right here are doing. How they're treating the truck drivers that are just trying to do their job. They don't want any trouble. This is a pretty famous clip. Let me just let him go. Man, it looked like they were trying to rob or something. I just dig his music.
Hát ő fel akar rád szállni. Hát itt egy kétszer stoppolás van, baszd meg.
I had a version where this had subtitles. This one doesn't.
Itt vannak csumariszék.
I'm going to go ahead a little bit. Because coming up here, you start to be able to see the massive, not just amount of people, but the camp itself. And it's quite, this is amazing to me. I mean, look at all these folks just coming down the road. They're just coming, they're coming on down the road. He's telling them get a job. He's calling them names I'm not going to repeat, but he's questioning their sexual orientation, I guess I could say that. Look at this. I mean, this just goes on and on and on and on and on. It seems like to me like there's almost no end of it. You can't believe how long this goes on. So if, you know, and look at this. The fence. They put this fence up right here so that the people wouldn't get here, but then they have to have egress and you know, places that you can get in and out of the fence. I'm not trying to make it so people don't understand me. I'm going to try to put this in the simplest terms. They have to have points of access to get out and in. And these people just use that to go all over the freaking highway. This man has had his tarp cut on top of his truck. Now, even though he doesn't own the truck, when that happens, I was a truck driver, I can tell you right now. When that happens and you're down, you're not making any money sitting there, and you're spending money on food and everything else. So this is how a Polish truck driver deals with these morons. And he was under fire for this. The company, I guess, had to fire him, but they hired him right back. It was a big joke. He was on a talk show. It was hilarious. So let's go. See how Poland deals with these people. Oh, what? You gonna try to get my truck? Get out the way, bitch. Get out the way. Boom, bitch. Get out the way. Get out the way, bitch. Get out the way. And it looked to me like they had plenty of time. And, well, I don't, you know, I can only say it one way. If they didn't have time, I don't think they were supposed to be in the street here. That's in fact, that's not a street. That is a limited access highway, like I-80 or I-90 or I-75, you know, if that didn't hit one of yours, like I-70 or I-4 in Orlando and to Daytona Beach to Tampa, any of those places. That's what this is. There's a big sign there that says no pedestrians, no motor vehicles under 125cc. This is not meant to have people pedesting. That sounds too much like Podesta. Now I want to show you something really cool. Let's take a look and see how some Russians deal with Muslims coming into their country, and now they want these Russians to pay the jizya. Hey, when you go to Mother Russia and you want some stupid stuff like that, don't be surprised if this happens. Oh my, look, he's trying to get away. Look, this guy didn't get away. Boom, boom, boom. Kick, and they chase this guy down. They chase somebody else out in the woods here. I'm sure you saw that. They're telling them, talking on the CB, talking about, hey, let's get him. Boom, this guy, he just gets the brunt. And do I feel bad for him? No. No. When Sharia law comes to your town, take a lesson from your Russian friends. When Sharia law comes and tells your wife to put on a burqa, they're going to beat her, remember, they're cowards. Look at this. Look at this. This is the best part, folks. This is what happens when you come to Mother Russia to extort Russians. This is what happens when you bring your piece of shit here. They push your car in the ditch. They beat you into the ground and push your car into the ditch. Look, I didn't see any government intervention. Maybe this is one of the good outworkings of communism. I don't know. Look, I feel like I don't want to beat this into the ground. And the simple fact of the matter is that, you know, we just want the best for America. We don't want, and by we, I mean folks like you see right here on your screen. The folks that are left, that are on reservations as Native Americans. People that stand up for freedom like Count Dankula. People like the Prince of Queens, who is a little snarky and comes across as an asshole, but has a big heart of gold and would stand up for your rights at every chance he would get. People like the Hard Bastard, who is maybe a little abrasive, but boy, I love him, and a lot of others seem to also. People like TheBritisher that may take his time and have a dry wit, and their knee might not bend. They might not bend over and kiss anybody's butt, but they'll tell you the way it is. And yes, Britisher, even people like Roger Stone. And I would say humbly, last but not least, myself. Do you want the truth? Crack open a beer. Fire up a doobie. Get your bong out. Come on by. Let's have a talk together. Let's have a smoke. More than anything, let's reason together. Let's examine the facts. Let's look into maybe why. Why are they bringing all these children in? Why did they allow it? Was it so they could pull at your heartstrings? Remember that when you're making decisions, doing it emotionally will never end well. I know some of my friends that just had me go through a emotional kerfuffle. I'm not immune to it. I'm preaching this particular sermon because I need to hear it. And brothers and sisters, I've never preached a sermon in my life that I didn't need to hear. If I didn't need to hear it, if I couldn't identify with the problem, if I couldn't see that the empathy is part of the issue, well then, why would I need to say anything about it? If it wasn't for people that were having empathy used against them so they would give their money to an evil corporation that says it's there to help these poor starving African children with flies buzzing and drinking from their eye like it's the watering hole, to only take 98% of it. I ain't even going into the Clinton Foundation and what they did in Haiti, what they did and how they did trafficked Haitians for sex. These people are sick. Is Donald Trump sick? He's a billionaire. I'm going to assume that he's got some more than skeletons in his closet. I'm going to assume he's done some heinous things. But you know what else I'll say? Here's to you, Kellyanne Conway. Bump the haters. You're beautiful, girl, especially for your age, and you're intelligent. None of these cowards calling you out dare debate you, and the ones that do, you do what you do. You make them look like fools. That said, folks, I'm not trying to pander to you with the booze and the weed. It's legal where I'm at. Don't you be smoking pot if it's illegal where you are. You just go and call your senator, call your congressman, tell them that, you know, this is bunk and that you're a big person and you can make your own decisions. But I am trying to show you that sometimes to deal with these things, it's a little bit easier if you have maybe 1 or 2 beers and a nice pull off your bong. That said, hey, listen, look into this. See what it is about. And you already saw how to deal with it if you're a Polish or a Russian truck driver. You meet force with force. I am not calling for violence, not at all. I am calling for self-defense. If someone throws a punch at you, you duck, you come up bobbing and weaving, get your jab going, and try to go for the overhand right. If you can't do that, you fight back. These people are attacking us. They say that their prophet is better than ours. They say, and then that's your prophet, whether you're an atheist or you're a Christian or whatever, Buddhist, whether Krishna or Buddha or Shiva or Jah or Jehovah or anyone. They say that their God is better than yours, their prophet is better than yours, and if you don't admit that, they want to end your life. Wake up, ladies and gentlemen. Wake up. My constant viewers, you probably most already woke. Go out and tell your friends. Miss Valerie Jones, go tell your community. Your community needs you if you live in a black community. I guess there I go being an ass out of me again because I'm assuming because of the skin tone that you have. And if you've seen where I live, you'd see that, you know, there's a lot of people that live around me, all kinds of shades. We need every one of you. I'm not calling out one. Sorry, Miss Jones. But I'm also not taking that out because what an excellent lady. I said some things to her in a chat before I even opened up this channel, and now I'm going to admit in front of the world to see that I was wrong, and I went right to some pretty ad hominem attacks and told her she was stupid, and this lady steadfastly just said, you know what, I can't believe you said that. You're a jackass. Why don't you listen to my argument? I did something I rarely do. I went back and I took down every one of those comments and took them out of the world, because I found out the hard way, by being made a fool of by my better, that Mrs. Valerie Jones is more understanding than I am, that she's a little older than I am, that she's a little wiser than I am, that there's a little more gray in her hair than there is in mine, and she commands respect. So listen to her when she talks to you. When you have your community members come and say, hey, listen, this isn't the Georgia it used to be. This isn't the Alabama it used to be. This isn't the Michigan it used to be. This isn't the New York. This isn't the America. This isn't the Britain it used to be anymore. Not because we're xenophobic or Islamophobic, but because we love what our land is, because we are proud of who we are. And in my country, who we are is mostly white folk and black folk. And we built this together. We went through some hard times together. People went through some hard times, and we made it through. Americans, would we let the likes of this rabble come into our country and make us run it the way they think it should be ran? I think not. And what else I think is, be good to your friends, be good to your family members, be good to your loved ones. Be quick to say you're sorry. Be even quicker to accept an apology, especially when that thing your friend, family member, or loved one has done seems to be so big that you'll never forget it. Because constant viewers, in a time you think not, your friends, your family members, your loved ones, your cause and your life will depart from you. Hey, listen. Hey, look, I know it's Snidely Rough Diamond now. I be looking for you as soon as I can see it, bro. I be looking at that, look like Benny Hill right there. I got my brim up right there. That's just for you. Hey, that's just for you, brother. I love you, man. You're wise, Brit. You're a wise Brit, and I really care about your opinions. I'll be looking for you, Sydney Rough Diamond. Oh no, lights out. I'm gonna punch your lights out. Get up, bitch, and guard your grill. There's something going on and I can't sit still. I've been drinking and busting too. I've been thinking of busting you upside your motherfucking head if your friends jump in. Oh girl, there'll be more. Get and move, bitch. Get out the way.